Hello and welcome to the Aid Station. I'm Chris Robb, and today I really am massively excited to be heading back to South America again, where we head to Quito in Ecuador to meet Elena Nolasco Diaz, who is the General Manager of Bike Family. Hey Elena, great to see you.
Hi, how are you, Chris? I'm great
Oh,
to see you too.
yeah, wonderful. Look, so excited. As I was saying, I've interviewed people from all over the world, but I'd love to interview more people from South America, and it's just wonderful to have you on the show. And we were talking before, you've got an amazing story where you've kind of taken a hobby and turned it into a business with your husband. In fact, met your husband through cycling. I'd love you to tell us just a little bit of the background of your story, please, Elena.
Well, yeah, actually, I was born in El Salvador and lived there until I was 28 years old. And then, because as I was telling you before, um, my actual career, I'm an economist, and I have a business degree and a master degree in business and also in marketing. So I have always been an executive in companies. So one of them brought me to Quito. And while I was here, I was exploring triathlon. And in the triathlon club I went to, so was my husband. Well, now husband. So we wanted to have the same bike brand, and then we started like looking for some, and we went through one that we ended up loving, and say, wait, no one is distributing that here in Ecuador, so why don't we bring that brand here? And so both of us being business men and women, we decided to do it right, with a business plan, with a marketing plan. And so it hit it up really quickly and became a business. And then we brought helmets, and then we brought clothing, and then we brought trainers, and we started building a big company actually, dedicated to all things related to cycling. So then we said, well, why wouldn't do this in Panama? And so we started the business also in Panama and then Colombia. So now the only thing we were missing is a big event. Uh, Christian, my now husband, did this GFNY World Championship in New York in 2015, and then he got hung up with this idea of we in here in Ecuador didn't have a race that was so well organized as GFNY, and we thought Ecuadorians really deserve this kind of event. So why don't we organize or have something like that here? And after searching, we came across Lydia and Uli, and we found out that we could have the race here if we brought it. And after presenting a business plan to them too, we got the franchise. So in 2019, we had the first race here in Manta, which is a port city and a tourist city. And so it was a success. So now we're organizing the second GFNY for Ecuador, which will be Quito, and hopefully bringing a lot of cycling to this country.
Wow, what an amazing story, incredible, and it's so great, and it's one of the common themes of the aid station that I've come across, people that have turned their passion into their business, but not always do they have the business skills. Sometimes they're people that have this hobby, and it ends up being a hobby. So wonderful to see that growth. Congratulations. And we were talking beforehand. In fact, we had a little bit of a pause because you've got a little 8-week-old baby, and it was time to go off and feed her, which is wonderful. I mean, what's life been like? I mean, a baby born during COVID, you've had some curfews you've been talking about, an event that you're not sure of when it's going to be on, supposed to be in October. Just tell us a little bit about what the last few months have been like, please.
Well, yeah, it is a challenge actually. Well, we have like we call them now a COVID baby,
Yeah.
which meant actually not a tribute, not family, not friends, not no one. not anyone known near our baby, which is really stressful, but we manage. We as a couple are managing that. But actually, yeah, we have now a curfew. It depends on the city, how many hours you cannot go out. But the state, the government declared state of emergency here. So we actually cannot even go riding or having our sports related activities as we usually do, not even personally, not alone, let alone having an event. So right now things do not look clear as when we are going to be having our normality or our normal custom. So we are trying to, well, understand what where are we standing in terms of that. As I was telling you, we have to understand what now will be hosting a race. I mean, when can we have it? If we can have it, where we can have it, if we will have to be applying social distancing, if we will be able to have all the riders together, a fair. I mean, usually registrations for GFNY occur in a big fair where everyone comes and we gather. That's the thing about GFNY is that you gather around with all the cycling, cyclists, and you make a community out of it. And that part that is a big essential part of being in a GFNY event, the big tents and people coming together and riding the day before. We don't think we're going to be able to have that. So it is going to be a new reality towards what we do. And it's challenging because it's also going to make it more, it's going to imply more cost for us to handle the race in under these circumstances. But we think that we owe to the community not to cancel the race. We owe to all the cyclists to find a way to have the race and to also live this great experience of being a pro for a day, but in the new reality. So we hope for 2021 we can return to what we used to be or what we used to be accustomed to have in a race, but we will have to adjust 2020. It's like that.
Wow, and so when you talk about challenge, you've had not only the challenge of COVID, but you were telling me that last year's event, which you'd planned, you had all these entrants, and Ecuador had been very stable for a long time, 10 years, and then all of a sudden, a couple of weeks before your event, your original event date, which I think you said was October, there were political demonstrations, and you had to move the event to December. So I guess, I'm a believer in life that everything happens for a reason, and I guess that's given you so many things that you've learned in terms of planning to be able to move forward to the possible rescheduling of this year's event. And I guess part of that's been leadership. I mean, you've exhibited amazing leadership to take this business and build it and take it across 3 countries. What are some of the kind of leadership techniques that you apply and some of the leadership lessons that you've learned during that time, please, Elena?
Well, yeah, you're right. It took a lot of leadership, not only from me, but also from Christian, who is a big part of the business. He actually dedicates totally to this business, and it was really a challenge because we had 2 options. The easiest one was to cancel the race, in which we wouldn't have to take any of the costs of moving the race. And then the policies that or the conditions that we have in the ticket when you buy the ticket says no refunds. It wasn't even our fault. So we could have taken that easy way and saying, well, it's canceled. and that's it. But actually, we thought, I mean, what we are trying to do here is creating more of a cycling culture, more of people being able to enjoy cycling in a way that we do not do it here, at least in Ecuador. We couldn't have it before. You know, it's really risky, and it was really risky for us to bring the franchise here because there are a lot of money involved in that, and people are used to pay maybe 1/5 part of the race fee that we charge.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really big risk doing that. um, so we risked it all, and in order to try to lead a way for more events like that happening, and also for people to be able to fall in love with cycling, because road cycling here wasn't really popular. So that's why you have poorly managed race. Uh, and it took a lot of bravery, mostly from Christian, who was really pushing towards having this race, to say, well, let's do it. We may not even make break even. We finally did, thank God.
Wow.
It paid off exactly break even. But anyway, what we had to do is uh, confide a lot in being real and talking to people about our reality and saying, I know that by contract, you do not owe me to not charge me because, or do this service, for example, the public bathrooms or the food, the food company, the food service, or, well, all of the things that we had a, for example, all the volunteers that had to change, and we already prepaid because you do pay a little bit to the volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't owe to us not to do this service in another time without giving us a charge or something extra, or even saying like you are canceling or you're postponing and I don't have to give you, you already pay me and I'm not gonna do it. So we think that when you are real and you talk to people and you believe in people, you will get it. I mean, uh, most of us are humans.
Mm.
We are companies too, but these companies are run by humans. And if you are really honest and transparent about it and say, I mean, not neither you or I have the fault of what's happening, but this is what we want to do. This is great for the country. People are going to come to the next, we're going to the next races. We're going to generate tourism towards the country, not only internal, but external, in
Mm-hmm.
a great, it's a great, also, it's a great place to show the world what's Ecuador, and that we are not all these preconceived ideas of what's Ecuador, but we are a great destiny for traveling, and, well, so many things. And actually, Carapaz won that year. So um, we said this is the right moment to do it and help us, and people did.
Wow,
So
that's amazing.
yeah,
That
an amazing race.
yeah.
It was amazing for real. And what I discovered then is that sometimes you think you are inspiring others, right? By what you do, because people told us you are truly inspiring in taking this leap of faith over the country, that we were going to actually come and do the race and pay the amount, and in the first edition, because you have to prepay for a number of competitors from the get-go, 5 or 6 months uh, before the event is done. And it's a leap of faith. I mean,
Mm.
uh, it might have been 50 riders.
Yeah.
So at the end it was 500, which is it's a good number for the first race.
Yeah.
Or the first edition of the race. So we thought we were inspiring people. People say it's great that you're investing in something like cycling and sports and tourism and expounding what the country is. But at the end, we got inspired by the people who did the race.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was amazing to see so many people who are not actually athletes going through the finish line. I mean, we had one rider that he cannot see. I mean, he was going a tandem bike, and he did the 100 miles race. I mean, it was amazing.
Wow.
We have El Suco Carrasco. He is a guy who fell from a mountain, and now he cannot move his legs. So he did it in an arm bike.
Yes.
And also he cannot control his heat, his temperature. So that's a big challenge for him to do it in a port city where it's really hot.
Yeah.
We have another man who was the last man coming in, who he is 55 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big inspiration to see people like that. People who were making their first race and they prepare for 5 months to do it. So when I saw all these cases, all these people running through the finish line, I said, well, this is why it was worth it to take the risk and actually not canceling, postponing the race and doing it.
Wow, what an amazing story. And you're so right, the inspiration of those athletes in all mass participation events. And I have no doubt that the foundation that you've laid, you'll look back in 5-10 years time with this massive cycling community in Ecuador, and you'll see that it's been built by you. I've seen it happen in so many other parts of the world. It's been so wonderful talking, and I hope that you're going to have, and I feel confident that you will have, a similar outcome to this year's event, whether it happens in October or December or has to be postponed. You're trailblazers. I wish you and Christian all the very best, and I sincerely hope that one day I'll get a chance to come to your beautiful country and get to meet you and maybe even participate in GFNY. But thank you so much, Elena. I really appreciate the time. It's been great talking to you.
It's been great talking to you too, and we hopefully see you here.
Wonderful. Thank you.